Hello and welcome back to NPC, that stands for Next Portable Console. It's a show about the games we take with us and the many handhelds we buy, we sell, and we buy again. I'm your returning co-host, Federico Ticci, and I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Brendon Bigley.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here to tell you that Nubby's Number Factory is out on Android and iOS. Okay. And my iPhone has become my next portable console once again.
Okay.
My Nubby's portable console? Sorry. Who else is here?
What are you drinking?
This is a vitamin C thing because I woke up
your vitamins.
feeling a little sick.
Looks like something else.
We're also joined by John Voorhees. Hello, John.
I am here to tell you that Tamagotchi Life is going to be my life starting today.
Oh, yeah. The Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream out on Nintendo Switch today.
You know what my life has been, gaming-wise, for the past week?
I know.
The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
It's a good video game.
Just a quick update, I guess. I felt like... I finished Tears of the Kingdom when it came out 3 years ago. I played 75 hours, did the main story, and very, very few side quests. I recently felt that I've been in between video games lately, and you guys ever been in that spot where nothing really grabs you, and you keep starting games and you play for like 4 or 5 hours, and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was feeling that. There was nothing was really grabbing me, and I was also, I think, in a sort of mental place where I wanted something chill, an open world, but not boring. And I mentioned not boring because I also started Crimson Desert, and oh my god, I got bored out of existence playing that game.
I'm glad you mentioned. I actually have I have the Mac version that was sent to me to review, and I haven't started it yet.
They made a Mac version of Crimson Desert?
They did, day and date.
I had no idea. That's wild.
I have not fired it up yet, but I've got an M4 MacBook Pro that I can give it a try.
Anyway,
you didn't
really
like it.
Really nice looking game, especially on a 5090, but just so empty of any kind of soul. And I know that there's plenty of people who are liking Crimson Desert, but it's not really for me. There's got to be something that grabs me. Even if I'm playing an open world, it doesn't mean that it has to be like boring because the world is huge and you gotta like. There are ways to design open world games. Anyway, these two thoughts combined led me down this path of thinking, well, what if I just start Tears of the Kingdom again on the Switch 2? So I can play the upgraded version. It's going to look nice. And oh my God, I'm having the best time. And I am playing this game in a very different way from what I did. And I think I had two problems 3 years ago with Tears of the Kingdom. One, I was rushing to see how the story ended. Mm-hmm. I really just wanted to see the story. Mm-hmm. But the second problem was I had bought a house a few months prior, and that whole part of my life, 2022 to late 2023, is like a blur right now.
Memory hole.
It's like post-COVID, buying a house, thinking about furniture, thinking about moving, thinking about furnishing the place and fixing the problems as a first-time homeowners. I don't remember pretty much anything from that year and a half or something.
Yeah.
And started playing Tears of the Kingdom, and I realized I really don't remember this game. Like, sure, I know the big twist at the end. I remembered the big twist with Zelda. I don't even remember the final fight, to be honest. So that combined with this time, I'm taking my sweet time. I'm not rushing through anything. I landed, after I took way more time than I did 3 years ago on the Great Sky Island. And then I landed on a Hyrule field and realized, you know what? I'm not going to Lookout Landing. I'm just going to start exploring.
Yeah.
And boy, what a game. Like, obviously, spoiler, Tears of the Kingdom is a good game. But like, I don't know. I feel like I am in that place where I'm just naturally discovering things and taking advantage of the build mechanics to do things that I'm not supposed to be doing, even though the game wants you to do those things, right? Even if it's super early.
This is like how I played Breath of the Wild, because they're really pushing you towards the beginning of the game to like get a horse and ride your horse around, and I hoofed it on foot the whole way through that game.
I don't have a horse right now.
Yeah. It's like it's a much more zen, kind of enjoyable, slow experience that way.
You miss a lot when you're riding around on a horse, I think. You really
especially
do.
if you're looking for like Koroks and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Oh man, I'm finding so many Koroks this time. And today, for example, I was just wandering around Hyrule Field. I unlocked 2 memories already. Obviously out of order. Like first memory I unlocked is Rauru like firing that giant laser from his eye to destroy all the Molduga. Like that obviously happens very much later in the typical progression of memories that you're supposed to unlock. And then I saw this tower, one of the Skyview towers, and it was really tough getting rid of the bokoblins there. There were the guy with the super heavy armor and the giant dude with an iron spike. And I have like 4 hearts and I still have like very basic weaponry. So I had to devise this strategy where I would attract the enemies toward this bridge, and I would just run away and then use Ultra Hand to drop a metal crate from the sky down to a spot where I previously positioned some bomb barrels.
Awesome.
And that allowed me to get rid of the guy's armor and then defeat him with just a regular sword.
That's awesome.
So
Nice.
that type of, and obviously the irony, I cannot unlock the Skyview Tower because I gotta go visit Pura at Lookout Landing first.
Right.
But I don't know. And also shout out to this other podcast that I discovered called The Sacred Realms. It's a show. It's a podcast all about the Legend of Zelda, and they started last year a Tears of the Kingdom season that is still ongoing. They are up to chapter 20, and so I started from chapter 1. And something fun that they're doing is they have these chapters. They're split in 2 episodes. One is a sort of dramatic retelling of the story, where they actually write down the story and they act the story. And the other episode is just a gameplay discussion. So also helped me discover a fun podcast that I was not familiar with.
Nice.
I love that for you.
Do you think you're going to stick with it, Ticci?
I don't really have anything else going right now. And I feel like I'm finally enjoying the Switch 2, which the Switch 2, like any other modern consoles, has been kind of a slow burn initially, kind of weird. Maybe the Switch 2 less so than, say, the PS5 or whatever happened with the Xbox. But I feel like right now I am actually enjoying the Zelda ports on the Switch 2. So yeah.
How does it look compared to what you remember the Switch 1 version looking like?
It's so much better, like especially when you play at 60 frames. When you dock it, it's so beautiful. Like it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, you're talking about this at a time where I also happen to be like weirdly falling back into Zelda, because I did a video a couple weeks ago about the like rumored Ocarina of Time remake that's coming at the end of the year.
Really enjoyable video.
No, thank you.
That was good.
But that sent me down a rabbit hole of playing the first hour of like almost every single Zelda game, and I got so taken by Breath of the Wild on Switch 2, which I never really gave a super fair shake, because when the Switch 2 editions came out, I really spent a lot more time in Tears of the Kingdom, just because that was the more recent game. But oh my god, Breath of the Wild, the Switch 2 edition is remarkably good. I will tell you both, actually, because I think the embargo is now officially up as of today, so I'm allowed to tell you both. Pragmata, which is the new Capcom game, should be out. Well, we'll be out by the time this episode's out. We'll be out tomorrow as of this recording. Great on Switch 2. And is structured very similarly to a Zelda game. Like if you played a Zelda game with Resident Evil combat mechanics, is how I would describe Pragmata. And then it's kind of sci-fi-y. No horror, which is nice. But it's great. And the Switch 2 version is like, I think the RE engine is like one of the more remarkable things in video games right now. Like the way Capcom's games perform across all platforms is literally miraculous. The fact that like, Resident Evil 4 Remake is on your iPhone
That's what I was going to say. The fact that it's running on Apple products at all.
It's amazing. Like, sure, it's not the best way to play it, but the fact that
Right.
it works is amazing in itself. But Pragmata on Switch 2. I think if you're looking for a new thing when you're done with Tears,
Okay.
really good video game.
Interesting.
I'm intrigued now. I wasn't planning on playing that one, but I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sci-fi Zelda.
Sci-fi Zelda with no horror, you said.
Yeah, it's basically Capcom making a Resident Evil game devoid of horror. It's like if you're not into the scary side of Resident Evil, but you like the idea of like, I'm going to play a game for 10 hours. I'm going to find every collectible I possibly can. Maybe I'll even play it again in New Game Plus or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So like no scare jumps, nothing like that?
No, the scariest the game gets...
It's at the beginning, right? Isn't it kind of
there's a bit in the second area is what I would consider like the forest temple. And the second in the forest temple, there's a bit where like you're going into a place where the lights are off and you have a flashlight, and that's where they introduce like invisible robots. Which is like the scariest the game gets, because the invisible robots are kind of like big scorpion looking things, but you know, they're robots at the end of the day. It's not like a freaky body horror zombie thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Okay. Man, that sounds interesting. Okay.
It's
All
really
right.
good.
Okay, we have some. I will have on NPC XL for our Patreon members. I will have a Comic Con. Well, it's not called Comic Con. It's our comic book convention that we have in Rome called Romix. And I have a bit of a story from there, including a I almost got scammed story. So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. There was a bit of a save from me at the very end. We have some news recap to cover. John, where do you want to start?
I think we should start with the TrimUI Brick Pro, because this is one that has been rumored for a very long time, and we haven't known a lot about it. But pictures of the packaging showed up online this past week, and so that confirmed various features, such as a 3.95-inch display, stereo speakers, Wi-Fi, fast boot, which to me just means it's got a faster chip in it than the old brick, and USB-C. Now, this is the biggest screen on a TrimUI brick so far. I think the old one was 3.2 inches, the existing one. 3.95, that it's not a lot bigger, but I think kind of as a proportional thing on a relatively small screen, that will make a noticeable difference to people. Yeah. We still don't know anything about the price, though. And that's going to be, this is going to be interesting, since we've had a lot of component stuff, prices going up. I don't know. A lot of people are talking maybe it's going to be $100 or so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm wondering, like, if it has the TrimUI Smart Pro S chip in it.
Right.
Like either the Smart Pro or Smart Pro S chip, then you'd probably be looking at like $80 to $100, I would imagine, because the Smart Pro S is going for $120 right now. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I should mention too that there are 3 different colors. There's black, white, and something called a retro. So, I love TrimUI's handhelds.
Yeah.
My
thing about them, they're so slow to release their stuff, and this is more of a me problem than a them problem, to be clear. Like, I understand this is more of like me being impatient, but I feel like I've been seeing pictures and images of the Brick Pro for a year at this point.
Yes.
Like,
wasn't it last summer that we saw the first teased photos? I think it was.
I'm thinking about that clamshell that we talked about like a month or two ago. When's the next time we're going to hear about that? I have no idea.
Fall.
There was another. They have 2 clamshells, right? They have like a normal kind of like SP looking one, and then like an actual kind of clamshell looking one.
Yeah.
Will we ever hear about those things again? I have no idea. But I'm glad this thing's getting out there. I think this, to me, feels like, depending on the price, a realistic pickup for people who are probably just buying the Retroid Pocket Classic for Game Boy games. Like, if you're buying that thing and you just really want to be playing Game Boy and Game Boy Advance stuff in like that era, the TrimUI Brick Pro for a lot cheaper will probably serve your purposes very well.
I think so too. Yeah, they always have good screens. All these devices they've made have had really good screens and good components. So I've always been real happy with the build quality.
Yeah. Did you get the hammer, John?
I did not. I've come so close so many times, Brendon. I can't tell you how many times
too.
I've hovered over that buy button.
Same.
They just look great, but I don't know. I mean,
yeah. The two things I'm always like
metal?
inches away from impulse buying are the TrimUI Brick Hammer and the XT E-Ink X4, that like little like e-reader that everybody is hacking. Those two things. I saw one in person for the first time at a party I was at the other day. Somebody like pulled out their phone. They had the XT E-Ink on the back. Oof.
How does it look? Because I've heard that the screen's a little fuzzy.
The screen's a little fuzzy, but like it works, which is, kind of for that price. I think it's like $40. It's sure. What can you expect?
I've seen a couple of knockoffs too. I mean, I think we're going to see more and more of those things coming out.
Something else very quick that I wanted to mention. The folks at OneXplayer have teased a new handheld with Strix Halo, and it's kind of confusingly named.
Yes.
So this is called the X2 Mini. It's got the AI Max Plus 395 and an 8.8-inch OLED screen.
Not so mini.
Now, this is called the X2 Mini, but it's actually bigger than the other Strix Halo handheld that they have, which is the OneXFly Apex, which is an 8-inch handheld. Why is it called X2 Mini if it's bigger than the other handheld with Strix Halo that they have? Bit of a mystery, honestly. This is positioned with that screen size as a competitor to the Legion Go 2.
Right.
Legion Go 2 that
famously small device.
It's famously small device. It's not called the Legion Go 2 Mini. It's called the Legion Go 2. Doesn't have Strix Halo though, so this will be expensive. It's gonna have an external battery. The usual deal. Not very clear what OneXplayer is doing with the Apex and the X2 Mini. And also, I'm surprised that given the current times, they can afford to tease another device with Strix Halo.
I agree. That to me is the most surprising thing, is that this was teased at all.
Yeah, I mean, now, in this economy? Okay, anyway, X2 Mini, no pricing, no other details. It's going to have detachable controllers. It's basically a Legion Go 2 with Strix Halo and an external battery pack because of the heat. So there's that.
Yeah.
It seems also, again, kind of weird given the current times, but it seems that Valve may be gearing up to release something, but it's not the Steam machine, and it's not the Steam frame. That leaves the Steam controller. Now,
this has been my dream. This has been what I've been rallying for. Why not just release the controller?
Put it on a boat, is what Brendon said. Put it on a boat.
Now, let me introduce you to the beautiful world of people online. So, hold on, because this deserves a bit of context. There are many people online who describe themselves as leakers or, reporters, people who leak stuff from tech companies, from gaming companies. Mm-hmm. And that's like a first layer of this, rumor onion, so to speak. There's another more interesting layer as well, which is people who spend time online. They hang out on forums. There are specific forums for those folks who basically inspect, and I'm not kidding, the shipping manifests of big shipping companies and trace back certain shipments to, in this case, a gaming company in America that just had something delivered from overseas. In this case, it was discovered through this import data and shipping manifests that Valve ordered from Taiwan 40 packages totaling 12 tons. So that would be 12,000 kilograms with products inside, and the shipping was labeled as wireless PC controllers. Now, if you estimate a typical controller weight of 300 grams, that would be about 40,000 units of a Steam controller.
Yeah.
What a way to discover that this may be happening in the near future.
I love it.
Forum
I love
detectives.
it so much.
So, it looks like the Steam controller may be coming out before the Steam frame and the Steam machine. I am stoked about this because,
me too.
I love... There are plenty of negatives about the Steam Deck. I love the controls of the Steam Deck. I know that it's very polarizing as a thing to like because of the very interesting layout that they chose with the tight buttons almost to the edge of the console. And the Steam controller is going to be even stranger than that potentially. Yeah. I have no doubt, based on the previews that we saw last fall, that it's going to be comfortable. Like, I am very confident that this is going to be a really comfortable controller to use. How pricey is it going to be?
It's a good question.
I mean, $100 for sure, right?
Yeah, I think there's no world in which it's not $100.
Nah.
Yeah,
I think it's closer to $150. I would say somewhere.
If we're lucky, it's going to be $99.
Yeah,
but I think $150.
I don't think they'll go like full elite pricing 200 plus or anything like that.
No,
because it's not that kind of controller. But yeah, especially with component parts, I could see it being healthily over 100. Yeah, the people who follow those manifests are close relatives to the people who comb through FCC documents and EU communication
regulatory databases like in Russia, in Europe. No, not anymore in Russia, fortunately, but like in Asia and in Europe. That's also another sub-world of this community. If you recall, the shipping manifests were also used, if I'm not mistaken, to guess which GPU Nintendo was going to use for the Switch 2 last year.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And the motherboard, there was something about the motherboard of the Switch 2 that was found in the shipping manifests at the time. Man, thank you, shipping manifest community, for doing the hard work.
Can I give you my one caveat about the Steam controller that I've been thinking about recently? Because I'm dying to get one of these, maybe even two of these. If I want to get my hands on one, probably replace my 8BitDo Ultimate 3 that I have here with that. Mm-hmm. But one thing about the Ultimate 3, which I have right here, so I can just lift it up. I can't but I'll unplug it. The dock is so nice.
It is.
Just being able to go like this.
Yes.
It's amazing to me. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, some enterprising person out there or company or something will make some kind of charging dock for the Steam controller. And if they do that, I'm in, baby. Put me down on the Kickstarter.
Yeah, that will exist, I'm sure. Speaking of companies that can afford to tease stuff right now, Lenovo is also teasing a bigger version of the Lenovo Legion Tab / the Y700 gaming tablet. Yep. We don't really have details except for like a single photo, maybe a couple of pictures.
I think there was a picture that was, but there's no dimensions. I mean, you can kind of guess at what it might be.
You can probably guess that this is going to be a 12-inch. It looks like
that, or 11,
it looks like
maybe.
A 12-inch tablet, 11 to 12-inch tablet to me. Cool, and also I won't be surprised if this ends up being China only.
And incredibly expensive. They've already raised their prices a lot for all the stuff that they sell.
Yeah. But great news, guys. It's going to have a second camera on the back.
And you were wondering a couple of weeks ago why gaming tablets have a camera.
Because they don't have enough.
Have two.
Yeah.
Now they have two.
So you can scan double the QR codes.
Yeah. I can hold up two QR codes
two at
once. At the same time.
One for the menu, one for the bar menu.
Yeah.
So, they barely have enough supply to offer the Legion Tab in the Western market in a single SKU instead of like the multiple ones they have in China. Mm-hmm. So this thing, I will be shocked if it finds its way to Europe and the United States this year.
But the one you got, I don't think is in the US yet. I haven't looked for a week or so, and it still was not available for pre-order about a week ago. So
I also wanted to mention, this is so weird. OnePlus, the Android smartphone and tablet and previously folding phone company, OnePlus, they're potentially developing a handheld that looks, this is going to make Brendon so happy, a handheld that has two cameras right by the right side controller.
Yeah.
So
where you would be resting your right index finger is where the cameras will be.
Yes, imagine grabbing this thing, and while you're resting your right index finger, you're covering two camera and potentially the flash of the device. Go take a look at this article on video cards and the rendered photo.
The grips are weird.
Thoughts on the grips?
The purple leather grips?
Purple faux leather grips on the back.
Purple faux leather grips.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Do we think this is just a handheld, or do we think this is a phone also? Are they going to try to market this as like, we're building a phone for you that also has like full controls on it?
Do you think those controllers are detachable? Because they don't look detachable to me.
They don't look detachable to me either, and I think if they were, you wouldn't see the camera there.
They finally listened to the people on Reddit and decided to make their handheld into a phone too.
Right.
Right?
The more I look at this photo, the more I'm confused.
Yeah.
It's a weird photo.
I was going to say maybe you slide the phone into the controller from the bottom, but then the cameras are embedded in the controller on the right side.
Yeah, cameras are in the controller. Also, like look at where the USB-C port is. Like I don't know
USB-C port?
Over on the right side of the photo, like you can see the USB-C port.
Oh my god, I didn't see that part.
So I think this is one unit. I don't think this is a thing that comes apart.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I would bet anything they have some kind of eSIM functionality in here and allow you to use it as your phone. I think if anyone's going to try to be the first ones to market with something like that, it's going to be OnePlus. But like, what a bizarre thing.
It looks kind of thick too, doesn't it? Doesn't it seem unusually thick?
Kaina is doing a lot of work here, John. It looks very thick.
It looks a little bit like a camera more than anything else.
Here's a thought. What do we know? Like, could it be that this is a device that specifically targets some really popular mobile game in China?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we don't know about.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know.
That's how I look at like the Legion Tab that we were just talking about. Like the Lenovo Legion Tab, and specifically the controllers that Lenovo's been making and things like that. They all really feel optimized for the mobile gaming space in particular. Not exactly like the Genshin Impacts of the world, but as you're saying, Federico, like there are a bunch of games like that are wildly popular in China that have not released outside of there, that are big enough that people will buy a device just to play it in a better form factor. So I think you could be right on the money about that. Yeah.
What do you guys make of the fact that they say that this is built around FPS style gaming?
I think it means it has to have analog sticks on the other side that we're not seeing.
Oh.
Would be my guess.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if not, that'd be pretty wild. It'd be so. Imagine if this thing
D-pad only.
had a D-pad, but you needed to use the touchscreen still. Like if it had all 4 shoulder buttons, but you still it only has
a D-pad and gyroscope.
Are there only 2 shoulder buttons here now that I'm looking at it? Because I assumed that those things on the front were R1 and R2, but now and then what we're seeing on the top are.
I told you, the more you look
there
at
doesn't
it,
seem to be any seam in the front, so I don't think that's a separate shoulder button in the front of the big shoulder button. I don't think. If you look on the right side, it doesn't look like those are 2 buttons. That's another button.
I'm so confused by this thing. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to question if it's real, and I'm like, are we speculating heavily about an AI generated image?
I was gonna say that it looks like an AI image.
It looks very like a hodgepodge of a camera, a phone, and a handheld gaming device.
Are you getting it? This is not 3 sets of devices.
All just mushed together. Well done, Federico.
Let me go change into my turtleneck real quick.
Oh, Steve Jobs just rolled over in his grave, Ticci.
Yeah. Remember when those guys a couple of years ago did like an AI podcast featuring Steve Jobs, and it was terrible?
Oh, that was so bad.
Oh my! It was a story a couple of years ago in tech where a couple of guys. It's always guys. They sampled Steve Jobs' voice and gave it to an LLM, and it came up with like Steve Jobs comes back for a podcast. It was horrible,
so gross,
stupid. Yeah. Anyway, I want to do NPC XL because I do have a story to tell.
Yes, sounds good to me.
All right. John, where can people find us on the interwebs?
Well, they can find us on the internet in general, but if they specifically want to make sure they run into us and don't miss us,
sure, yes.
right? They should
It's a
go.
big place.
They should go to a few places. They should first go to wavelinks.online, which is where Brendon has all of his stuff. You can find links to his stories, his videos, all of that. And you can listen to Into the Aether, his other podcast. Got that going on too. And for me and Federico, just go to macstories.net. And all three of us are on social media, mainly Mastodon and Blue Sky. And you can find us there by just searching for our names. So that's it for this week, everybody. We will see you in another 7 days. Bye, everyone.
Bye.